And the final piece in the puzzle, as I see it, is home care, where that is going. Both Stuart and Byron have mentioned home care. So for the benefit of the audience, with the home support program, when it does come about in 12, 18 months' time, how many levels of care, Stuart, do you reckon there's with care packages, firstly, are we going to have? And secondly, with the home support program, what complexities is that going to bring in for operators? And where does that lie in the assisted living marketplace and therefore the private aged care? A couple of questions there.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So the new support at home program, I guess, is probably the initial papers that have been released have been a little bit controversial, and certain parts of the sector haven't agreed with what's come out in that, and the sort of links to things like the NDIS and the prices being set, what is care management and what can be charged for managing a package, and those style of things have really been quite challenging for people to get their head around. And how will the traditional provider be able to generate a margin, manage their clients, those sorts of things. Number of package levels we've been talking about for many years now.
I'm going to interrupt you for a moment. So just on that one point,
yes.
It is that complexity, and also the control of pushing admin prices down and so on.
Yes.
That again reinforces why an operator who's looking at creating a future for themselves has got to look at this model, because you have all that efficiency and knowledge of the client being on your premises. And as Paul identified, with the CRM systems and what have you, if you can bring all your clients into a location, that's when everything clicks and works.
That's right, and you've obviously there's a number of savings to be had by doing that. The other thing that we've talked about before as well is, obviously home care is the delivery care in the home, but where is someone's home, if you know what I mean? And what we do know is many people's residential houses are not built to deliver care. So having an opportunity to move into a village, setting early on with knowing that you will be able to get access to care is a good thing from the consumer. But from a provider point of view, there are efficiencies and savings to be made by delivering those care services in one location. And you're absolutely right, Chris. And the other piece, I guess, to think about with the new support at home model, we are bringing in the Commonwealth Home Support home care package and restorative care. So that Commonwealth Home Support programs is another, I think, an opportunity under this model, because you obviously bring in another, $3 to $4 billion of package funding that traditionally was block funded. That'll be in similar style to individualised funding. So there's actually an opportunity to access and deliver, from a provider point of view, to deliver services at a lower level of care that's not currently delivered under home care package. So capturing that client and delivering those services is a good opportunity as well. So there's still, I think, a fair bit to be worked out with this new model. As I was saying earlier, the traditional 4 levels of packaging we've been talking about for some time, that there needs to be a greater number of packages, as high as 9 to, I've even heard up to 13 levels of packages, to bring those numbers together. The reality from the support at home model is that the government is very much focused on utilise the funding. So we've had this unspent funds issue that's been around the sector for a long time now, and there's a huge, the amount of money that is unspent by consumers. This new model is individualised, focused, but use those funds that are available. So from a provider point of view, being able to provide a list of services that might come in a membership style thing with LDK or Odyssey, that they're actually using the funding that's made available to them. And of course, from a provider point of view, if consumers are happy and they're utilising the services and you're providing services, you're also getting a margin and a return. And you need to be able to get that, obviously, from a financial perspective, to cover not only your fixed costs, but also the variable costs of employing your workforce to deliver those services.
There's a very important point there, and that is that Byron mentioned earlier that they provide care at cost. Now, Byron, if I'm correct in saying, am I not, that you also provide care in 15-minute increments?
That's right.
And if I can just lead you here on this question, so your residents getting their care in 15-minute increments using their package, that has to be controlled, which comes back to Paul's role. But also you've got private contribution too. So once a package is used up, these people are accustomed to having the physiotherapist or the whoever coming in to support them, they have the opportunity of continuing to fund beyond what their package requires. And that's, again, additional, it allows an operator to make sure that they have got the staff on side. So, the minimum 2 hours situation is taken away again. Is that a fair summation?
It is. When we say care at cost, I mentioned where our cash flow drivers come from before, which is a membership fee, obviously sell down any surplus from that, but also capital growth. Put all that into a pool that enables you then to deliver the services that you need. So ultimately, it's the resident that subsidises, not the operator. But we then operate to a very strict and disciplined budget regime as far as the delivery of that care is concerned. From the residents' perspective, our clinical case managers will meet with the residents and regularly review their care plans, match that to then their home care funding. And as you indicated, Chris, that will then identify if there is any gap between the government funding that we can obtain for our residents and the actual care that they require. So they still direct, and it's very still much a consumer directed model. But if they need to top up, then they'll top up. We also have a deferred care policy as well, so that we're not saying to residents, sorry, we can't deliver that because you can't afford it right now. We have the ability for them to take that out of their equities on exit. Now, the 15-minute increment works really well because it enables us to schedule our care in accordance with the care needs of our residents. So it's the residents through the care planning that sort of dictates our scheduling, that then dictates our rostering, and we need sophisticated systems for that. And enables us to operate much more efficiently, I suppose, than travel times and those type of things.
So there's a very good point there, isn't there, that a resident can continue to have private home care services topping it up, but they don't have to pay it out of their cash flow themselves because it can be paid at the end as a part of the final settlement. So again, you're making it easier for people to have true wellness, i.e. have true services delivered to them without the pain. And if I'm correct in thinking the average, and I think it's mostly the same with you, Phil, you'd expect your average occupancy to be what, 4 years? Is that right?
Yeah, for us, it's a little bit less. It's just over 3 years at the minute, Chris, but at Odyssey and Robina, we've only been open 2 years. So we're modelling that. So three to 4 years because people are living longer.
Yeah. Ours is Greenway is still emerging and maturing. Chris, we've modelled about a 6 to 7 year stay because of the breadth of our model allows us to attract more independent people through to people that have higher needs of care. So there's sort of 6 to 7 years at Greenway, but we have 70% of residents at Greenway receiving care and services. So I feel that 6 to 7 may drop as we mature. Residents at the landings are the converse. We only have about 30% of residents at the landings receiving care and services. But to put that into context, there was zero receiving care and services when we took over 3 years ago. And we have nearly 50% of our resident cohort there are over the age of 85. So the care needs are definitely escalating over time and will continue to escalate.
That goes to my favourite subject, which is, if you live in a retirement village, you're likely to live longer.
Correct.
And less likely to go into residential aged care.
Yeah.
Be promoting this. So, Stuart, just getting back to the home care packages, it is highly likely, we're talking building new developments, property developments and services that are going to last 10 to 20 years, but it is highly likely that home care packages will, as you say, expand beyond level 4 and will increasingly go to a needs-based system, i.e. that if people need it, they can get it. So under this regime, it is possible that a home care provider within the appropriately built development will be able to service a home care package that might be $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 if we looked out 5 years.
That's right. Yeah, the value is going to keep increasing. That package level value will continue to increase. The only concern is with the paper that came out is around, for us, is around the government setting prices is a concern about, the provide, how much you're allowed to charge for a particular service. So we'll see. None of this is locked in yet, so we're still looking at it. But if we work on the existing model, Chris, you're absolutely right. The value of a package is going to be increasing. The ability for a provider to provide that higher end, if we said level 4 package at the moment, or even go to level, if there's such thing as a level 5 package, that's where the money is made based on our benchmarking. That's where you get a better margin for a provider point of view. Very little margin in those entry level packages, and that's what will be really interesting if the support at home combination, bringing in the Commonwealth Home Support, is what will that actually look like, and what's the opportunity to get a return there. But certainly, the higher level of packages, the more care, the greater the margin.